curious enough. That's a nice end. You might think about that for some time. Because I think there are several interpretations to this end. And I don't want to spoil anything by shoving my opinion up your, down your throat. Alright, the credits are running through pretty fast, and the music is quite loud. I hope you can hear me. So let's just start off with our Gothic II conclusion. I think we always started with the negative ones, right? I really hope you can hear me. The music is quite loud. Oh, that's it. That's the credits, isn't it? Let's see. Is there anything common now? Maybe there is. Hopefully. No. Alright. Still credits. Alright. Negative. What I didn't like about this game, and we have to talk about this. First of all, and that's something that is expected by RPGs nowadays, but wasn't so much back in the day when this game came out, is your own character creation. You couldn't do this in this game, and I didn't quite miss it. I see why people would miss it, younger people who saw it in more modern games, but I didn't quite miss it in this game, because I grew up with this game, and creating your own character nowadays feels more like an additional option that isn't quite necessary. Because usually creating an ugly character doesn't influence the game in any way different than creating a very pretty character. So it's not really, it doesn't do anything to the game, it's just for your own satisfaction. So it's not really that necessary. But that's just completely out of the point. Second, and that's probably the worst thing in the whole game, is the combat system, which is just awful at times. For example, especially that you can target and even attack friends or neutral NPCs, and it happens quite often as an accident. So that's just awful. Also, enemies just flying past you, enemies bugging out. But yeah, that's actually the next point. Occasional glitches and bugs that happen from time to time, which are more funny than annoying in this case, because if you didn't save, there is no automatic saving system, but I didn't really add that on the negative part, because if you forget to save yourself for yourself, then it's your own fault. Next point, awful English voice acting. All these American dubbings, that is just awful. I mean, I don't have anything against American voice actors really, but why did they choose all those southern of the southern US English voice actors? That was just awful to listen to. Alright, next one is a very straight storyline, and you didn't really have a chance to influence the events greatly by your choices that you made. Again, that is something that is quite common doing modern RPGs, but not so much in games at that time. And I'm thinking we're nearing the end, but
we're overloaded. We have to toss some of the gold overboard.
Get your hands off the gold.
Listen, it would be really better if we...
I don't want to hear any more about it.
I've heard the war with the orcs is going badly.
And?
We probably won't be able to spend all the gold anywhere.
The gold stays on board.
What good is the gold if we capsize in the tiniest storm?
But I don't see a storm.
Not yet.
Relax. Everything will turn out all right.
Yeah, that was nice and pretty, even though random. Alright, we're almost done with the negative part. Next thing was... the last thing, actually, on the negative side is technical difficulties, frequent game crashes. You didn't really notice that, but approximately... I had to approximately restart the game 2 times during each recording, because the game just crashed for several reasons. Plus I had to do some typing at the beginning of each recording, and all the it's technical stuff, and it was a bit difficult to get the game running, so that was a bit annoying. Yeah, so it's rather difficult to get it running on modern PCs, as those of you who have Windows 7 probably know, because that's even more difficult to get it running there than on my Windows XP. Alright, but that's that, and now let's get to the positive thingies. Can I actually do something funny? While... yeah, I'll just run through the credits once more. Plus it's cool music. Alright, plus, what is positive on this game is, first of all, a very believable and also enjoyable atmosphere, which is the biggest plus of this game. I absolutely like playing this game and just immersing into this world and imagining to you know, be the character, to just live in it and try to survive. Second of all, the characters in this game are very much likable, and the dialogues are very funny, often with a tiny hint of humor in these, you know, in this sarcastic corner. Next of all is that the quests are really nice, in my opinion. It's not like in these MMORPGs where you just have to catch 5 of these and collect 5 of that and kill 100 of these enemies and so on. The quests are always about interacting with others, about investigating, about exploring, about talking to NPCs, about concluding, about gathering facts and drawing your own conclusions. That's just something I really like. So that just adds to the atmosphere, in my opinion. The story was good. It wasn't brilliant. There was no the twist at the end with Zardis was good, but not brilliant, not perfect. The plot development was also very good, in my opinion. Could have been worse, but it also could have been better. But I really like the decision to throw you into the game as the lousy worm you are, that you have absolutely no strength, you can't do anything, you have to avoid enemies, and then you slowly make your way to being a hero, and that way you actually feel like a hero in the end. In comparison to that, are games where you're just thrown into and you can automatically defeat enemies in the beginning, and that way you don't really feel like making that much progress. Well, in this game you really do, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Please let me know if you disagree with me. The world of Gothic is full of details, as you have noticed, and I just love running around and exploring. I love finding all those hidden treasures, and the world just invites me to explore. And this need, this urge of those of us who like RPGs to run around and explore is almost always rewarded in this game. So there's always a treasure waiting around the corner or in that nice little cave, and that is really great. The graphics, I know what you're thinking now, but the graphics, honestly, the graphics were really good for that time and for the amount of money that Piranha Bytes has, being a very, very small company. So they were really good. The area of Gothic 1. Can you still hear me? The area of Gothic 1 was, in my opinion, very nicely embedded into Gothic 2. It was so nice to just return to the Valley of Mines, even though it looked different. But it was nice to still see familiar old places and then how it changed. That felt really good. So it was a very nostalgic feeling. The monsters... oh yes, the monsters were only respawning in new chapters, and I really liked that. I would like to do a comparison here to Witcher 2. No, not Witcher 2, Witcher 1 actually, which hopefully you guys played. It's a really good game. I really liked it in the beginning, but started to hate it in the end of the game, because enemies were always respawning if you went past their spawning area. So even in the highest chapter, when the Witcher is almost impossible to beat, there are still lowlish enemies spawning, which are being defeated by only one stroke with your sword, and which give you 1 experience point. And that was so annoying, because you couldn't leave the area without all the enemies defeated. So you had to kill all those guys, and it was just annoying. It was so unnecessary, and I started disliking the game just for this reason. As you can hear in the background, the music of Gothic 2 was just great. Don't really have to say anything more about that. It added so much more to the atmosphere. It made creepier areas even more creepy, and it made happy areas just lovely and just enjoyable to be in. And what I also liked is that you could choose your own faction to join. So you had your individual training and also individual quests, which of course is kind of a standard for modern RPGs, but back then I thought it was quite an improvement, quite a big step forward to you know, choose your own faction and to thereby have individual quests that you could do. And that's it, I think. Yes, I'm turning the page, but that's it for Gothic 2. That were all my thoughts on this game. Please write down if you agree or disagree with anything, or if you would like to add anything on the positive or negative side for this game. I personally very much enjoyed this game, even the last bit where it got quite creepy, but I still enjoyed it, even though I much prefer the earlier chapters where you're just roaming about, not being too much, you know, too much entangled in the whole political business of this game, where you just can roam about and talk to anyone basically and just explore. I preferred that bit, but the game all in all was very much enjoyable, and I would give it what was my rating system again? Was it 5 stars? I think it was 5 stars. I would definitely give it a 4 out of 5, maybe even a 4.5 out of 5, because I really liked it, and as I said in the beginning of this Let's Play, it's one of my favorite games of all times. So much for that. I really hope you guys enjoyed this LP. Next one will be Gothic 1, of course, with the same nameless hero, and until then, I hope you guys have a great time, and see you then. Bye bye.